Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news, so just imagine this for a moment. The Atlanta Falcons, a team that's been steadily building and trying to punch through the NFC South's tough division, could be on the verge of a seismic shift. And no, I'm not talking about a minor move here or there. We're talking about a blockbuster trade that could reshape the defensive interior of the Falcons, one that might elevate them into a new level of contention. Rumors are swirling that the Kansas City Chiefs might be eyeing a major move, and it involves none other than Chris Jones, one of the most disruptive defensive tackles in the league right now. And believe it or not, the Falcons could be a key piece in this puzzle. Sources close to Adam Schefter are indicating that the Chiefs, who are sitting at 11-4, but are facing some serious cap constraints with about $12 million in space and a pressing need to reshape their roster, are contemplating trading Chris Jones. The reason? Well, Kansas City is looking to make a significant rebuild after finishing 15th in defensive ranking this year, allowing an average of 22 points per game. That's not terrible, but for a team with Super Bowl aspirations, they're eyeing a more explosive, disruptive defense. And Jones, with his knack for wrecking plays from the inside, fits that mold perfectly. Now, the trade, if it materializes, could see the Chiefs sending a first-round pick in the 2026 draft and a reserve DT from the Falcons, potentially a young player looking to develop. The idea here is that Kansas City wants to acquire youth, draft capital, and perhaps some flexibility to make other moves, especially given their need to free up cap space for star quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who is due for a huge extension that could cost around $30 million. This move would be a clear signal that the Chiefs are prioritizing their future and their superstars over current defensive depth, and that they're willing to part ways with a player as talented as Chris Jones to make it happen. But why would the Falcons be interested? Well, if you're a Falcons fan, you already know how much of a difference maker a dominant interior presence can be. Chris Jones is not just any defensive tackle. He's a game wrecker, a player capable of flipping the script on any offensive line. His 2025 PFF overall grade stands at 71-0, which might not seem overwhelming at first glance, but when you look deeper, it's clear he's still among the elite. His pass rush grade is a staggering 90. 5, ranking him as the second best among all NFL interior linemen, and his pressures, 74 in total, are the highest in the league. He's a player who consistently gets after the quarterback, with pressures and hurries that can disrupt even the most disciplined offensive lines. Chris Jones has accumulated over 80 career sacks, with a sack rate around 10%. His ability to generate pressure and his knack for timing his rushes make him a nightmare for offenses. He's also been a 3-time Pro Bowler, and his pressures, 226 since 2022, are the most among interior linemen in the league during that span. His impact isn't just in sacks, it's in the way he commands attention, freeing up teammates to make plays or forcing quarterbacks into hurried throws. His pressures and hits have been instrumental in turning games around, and his low injury history only adds to his value. For the Falcons, acquiring Chris Jones could be a game changer. Their interior defensive line has been a bit of a question mark this season, especially after losing Hodge to IR on December 19th. Adding Jones would be like dropping a seismic bomb on the interior front. His presence would instantly boost the Falcons' pass rush, which currently ranks outside the top 10 in sacks, and dramatically improve their run defense. Last season, the Falcons allowed around 115 rushing yards per game, which ranks about 15th in the league. Bringing in a player of Jones's caliber could reduce that number significantly, potentially down to under 95 yards per game, while also increasing the pressure on opposing quarterbacks by roughly 30%, pushing their pressure rate from 30% to around 38%. The impact of such a move extends beyond just the numbers. It's about creating a culture of relentless disruption, a mentality that could elevate the entire defense to elite status. Think about Vita V's recent impact, an interior disruptor who can do a lot with just a little space. Jones, with his ability to penetrate and collapse pockets, could have a similar, if not greater, effect. This would allow the Falcons to contain some of the more potent rushing attacks in the league, like the Vikings, who average over 140 rushing yards per game. A disruptive force like Jones would help the Falcons tighten up their front seven, limit big plays on the ground, and turn their defense into a true terror for any opponent. And this isn't just about regular season wins. It's about positioning themselves for a deep playoff run. A dominant interior defender can be the X-factor in playoff games, especially against teams with strong rushing attacks and mobile quarterbacks. With Jones anchoring the middle, the Falcons' defense would be able to apply more pressure consistently, forcing turnovers and creating short fields for their offense. It's a move that could push their defensive sack totals into the top 5, giving them a real shot at contending for a Super Bowl. Now, some might wonder about the cost. Well, the Falcons would need to make some sacrifices, but they're well-positioned to absorb a trade like this. They currently have about a $4.99 million cap space after some recent trades, meaning they can maneuver without too much trouble. Plus, acquiring a player like Jones would send a strong message to the league and to their division rivals. Atlanta is serious about contending now and for the future. From a strategic point of view, this move makes sense. The Falcons are building a team that's not just good now, but also capable of sustained success. Their draft capital, combined with their cap space, gives them room to make aggressive moves. Bringing in a player like Jones would also help them address their defensive needs as they look to improve on their 6-9 record, especially as they push to make a playoff push in the coming years. It's about creating a balanced team that can dominate both the run and the pass, and having a disruptive interior lineman like Jones would make their defense a nightmare for any offense. Looking ahead, this move could also influence the Falcons' chances at the Super Bowl. If Jones can replicate some of his past performances, like his Week 12 burst against the Chargers where he recorded 2 sacks, he could be a difference-maker in high-stakes games. Plus, the psychological impact of having a player of his caliber inside the trenches can't be overstated. Opposing offenses would have to double-team him, freeing up others to make plays. This kind of disruption is exactly what the Falcons need to take the next step. And for the Falcons fan base, this is the kind of move that sparks hope and excitement. It's about making bold decisions, about showing that the team is serious about competing at the highest level. The potential to transform their defense into a top-tier unit with a player like Chris Jones is something every Falcons fan dreams of. It's about building a team that can not only make the playoffs, but also challenge for the ultimate prize, the Super Bowl. As we look toward the future, it's clear that the Falcons are positioning themselves for something big. Whether this trade comes to fruition or not, the buzz around Chris Jones and what he could bring to Atlanta is real. It's a reflection of the team's ambition, their desire to be among the best, and their understanding that a dominant defense is key to winning championships. And if the Falcons manage to pull off something like this, it could set a new standard for what they're capable of achieving in the coming seasons. The NFC South might be in for a shakeup, and for Atlanta fans, that's the kind of change that fuels hope and excitement for what's to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So in summary, we're looking at a potential game-changing move that could redefine the Falcons' defense and push them closer to Super Bowl contention. The idea of adding Chris Jones to a team hungry for disruption, with the potential to elevate their entire unit, is something every Falcons fan should be excited about. Whether it happens or not, the talk alone shows how aggressive the team is willing to be to reach that ultimate goal. The NFC South is about to get even more interesting, and Atlanta just might be the team leading the charge. Keep your eyes peeled because big things are on the horizon, and this trade rumor could become a reality sooner than you think. The Falcons are building something special, and the addition of a disruptor like Chris Jones could be the final piece to turn their aspirations into a reality. Buckle up, Falcons fans. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory.